Would you believe me if I told you that just 20 minutes of scrolling could weaken your focus? No, this isn't a metaphor. It's real. It's a fact. Recent research has shown that after just a few minutes of scrolling through social media, our brains experience a decline in both focus and decision-making ability. In fact, your brain thinks it's resting, but it's actually getting tired on the inside. Today, we're going to find out why this happens and, more importantly, how to take back control. Hi, I'm Raiden, and this is the Peak Pages channel. Today, we want to talk about how social media has enslaved us and how we can take back control. Without wasting any time, let's get to the rest of the video. Recent studies on the brain show that even short-term use of social media leads to decreased activity in a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. That's the very part that's responsible for focus, decision-making, and behavior control. In other words, it's exactly where personal growth begins. When you're mindlessly scrolling, your brain gets caught up in a simple cycle: anticipation, reward, and repeating it. This is the same dopamine system that gets triggered when you see a notification. Your brain learns to seek quick stimulation instead of searching for meaning. And that's where the problem starts, because your brain begins to rewire itself based on those short-term rewards. So without even realizing it, you're trading long-term focus for brief moments of pleasure. You might think this is just a metaphor, but it's not. It actually happens physically. When you repeat the short-term reward cycle over and over, your brain creates new neural pathways, while the old ones, the ones responsible for focus and self-control, get weaker. This is called rewiring the brain. Every scroll, every like, every notification is a small pulse of dopamine that turns your brain into a creature of habit. In the short term, it feels good, but in the long run, your brain learns to only respond to quick stimuli. The result? You can't focus on a book anymore because your brain is chasing instant rewards. You can't finish a task completely because your brain gets tired of the long road. Simply put, your brain is being reprogrammed. Not for progress, but for quick reaction, for survival, not for growth. Dopamine itself isn't bad. In fact, without it, there would be no motivation at all. But when its amount becomes irregular, your mind shifts from being creative and purposeful to being reactive. Meaning, instead of you controlling dopamine, it controls you. Social networks are designed exactly with this logic. Every scroll is a potential reward. Not always, just sometimes. And it's this unpredictability that makes the brain even more addicted. It's like gambling. Your brain tells itself, maybe the next post will be more interesting, and this damn cycle never ends. Now imagine this happening several times a day, every day, for years on end. Your brain eventually can't even experience focus or satisfaction without external stimulation anymore. That's why when you put your phone down, you feel this strange emptiness. Not because you've lost something, but because your brain is going through withdrawal. You might think, I'm not addicted. I just check it sometimes. But the signs are clearer than you think. You can't survive 10 minutes without your phone. Every time you get bored, you unconsciously pick up your phone. Your focus on tasks isn't what it used to be. Even when you're talking to your friends, part of your mind is somewhere else. These aren't signs of weak willpower. Don't get it twisted. It's a sign that your brain has been wired to the wrong reward system. But the good news is, just like your brain learned not to be dependent, it can also learn to be free again, because the brain is a flexible system and you can rewire it. This is where choice comes into play. You can't grow by completely cutting out social media, but you can learn to use them instead of letting them use you. There are 3 simple but crucial steps. Delay your initial reaction. Before you open an app, wait a few minutes. This simple delay helps your brain put some distance between desire and action, and that gap is exactly where your power comes back. Number 2 is conscious scheduling. Instead of checking randomly, set a specific time for social media. For example, only in the evening. When your brain has a set time, it releases dopamine in a controlled way. The third one is this: replacing it with reality. Your mind needs a reward, so give it a real reward. Exercise, read, have conversations, go out into nature. All of these give you dopamine, but the stable and beneficial kind. When you cut down on social media use, it's hard at first because your brain is looking for that instant dopamine hit. But after a few days, your brain starts to rebuild its old focus pathways. This is called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's amazing ability to change itself. That means every small moment of focus, every distraction you resist, sends a signal to your brain: we're coming back. You gradually start to experience a deeper sense of satisfaction, the kind of satisfaction that comes from within, not from a screen. A satisfaction that you build, not just receive. When you take back control of your mind, something changes. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions get stronger. Your presence of mind feels more real. You're no longer just reacting. You become the creator of your reality. And that means mental freedom. Freedom from all those algorithms, comparisons, pointless anxieties. You can still use technology, but you're no longer its product because you've learned to create distance. And that distance is the real line between weakness and strength. This video isn't here to say that social networks are bad. It's just here to remind you that your mind is too valuable to be handed over to the next post. So tonight, before you pick up your phone, pause for a moment, because maybe that pause is the starting point of your return. We live in a world where our brains no longer recognize quiet moments. Even when we're waiting, we feel like we have to do something. You're just standing there. Let me check my phone. You're waiting for your food to be ready. Let me check my phone. Before bed, I wake up with my phone. It's always the phone, always the phone. But the brain is made for silence, for thinking, for inner connection. When you take that space away from it, it loses itself. This is exactly the main reason for the modern feeling of exhaustion. We no longer have time for our minds to get to know themselves. The brain has to react to 1,000 tiny choices every second. The result is anxiety without a reason. That anxiety you can't explain, but it follows you every day. Your brain isn't tired because it's worked too much. It's tired because it never truly rests. But there is a way, not to completely eliminate technology, but to return to deep thinking. Deep mind means that part of you that can still get absorbed in work, that can focus for hours without getting bored. It's the same mind that lets you finish reading a book, that lets you come up with an idea, that lets you create a meaningful life. Deep mind only comes alive when the inputs fade away, when you choose what enters your mind, when you think instead of scrolling, when you create instead of comparing, when you guide instead of just reacting. Every time you choose to focus for a few more minutes, you're sending a strong signal to your brain that I'm in control. It's not your time that social media is stealing. They're stealing your identity too. The human brain wasn't designed for comparison, but now, every minute, it's making thousands of comparisons. Without even realizing it, you're measuring yourself against other people's carefully curated images, and little by little, Your sense of self-worth shifts from who am I to what do they have and what should I have. This endless comparison gradually erodes your inner sense of satisfaction because your mind can never win. Every time you think you've gotten ahead, a new image pops up and you feel lacking all over again. The way out of this cycle isn't to chase more validation. The way is to learn to endure the silence of comparison. That moment when your mind says, "Look where so-and-so is." Just say one thing to it: "I'm on my own path." One of the strongest habits you can build is the habit of daily silence. That means every day, for just 10 minutes, have no input at all. No listening to music, no podcasts, no watching videos. Just you and your mind. At first, it'll be the hardest 10 minutes of your life. Because for the first time after all this noise and chaos, your mind will be alone. But after a few days, those same 10 minutes will become your safe haven. Those 10 minutes of silence are an exercise in rebuilding your mind, to rebuild your focus, so you can hear your inner voice again. Awareness is good, but it's not enough. You already know what kind of impact social media has. But the real question is, how many of us actually decide to do something about it? As long as awareness doesn't turn into action, no real change will happen. So starting tomorrow morning, do one small thing. Start the first 30 minutes of your day without your phone. Every night before bed, put your phone aside, think, be silent, and whenever you get bored, instead of scrolling, just breathe. Change starts with these simple things. Every day, there are only two paths. Either you control your mind, or the algorithms make decisions for you. And their goal isn't to help you. Their goal is to keep you inside the platform. You are the product they're selling, your time and attention. But once you become aware, you're no longer a victim. Because every time you choose to put your phone down, you're teaching your brain that real power comes from within, not from notification. A simple truth, but one that's been forgotten. No one has ever become happier in the middle of scrolling. Happiness is always found in these very moments, not in the next post, not in others' approval. Your brain only finds peace when it's in the present, and being present in the moment is exactly that. Seeing, hearing, just being, without needing to record it, without needing to get likes. True peace and happiness have always been right here. We were just distracted. You haven't lost your control. You just forgot about it. But every time you choose to face yourself instead of escaping into your phone, you take a step toward a stronger mind, better focus, and a more real life. Next time you want to scroll aimlessly, remember what I said. There's nothing on that page worth losing yourself over. So come back to yourself, to your mind, to the moments when you're truly living. Your mind is the only place where life really happens. I'm Raiden, and this is the Peak Pages channel. I'm really glad you stayed with me until the end of this video. Until the next video, take care.